Sounds like she's definitely a no-go on anything foot-related. Michael?
No.
Anthony?
I wear shoes and socks inside at all times. The only time I do not have something on my feet is when I'm in the shower or when I go to bed.
Can't sleep with socks on. It's horrid.
I like sandals.
Anthony, what's your vote?
Foot fetish or
Okay
not?
with you?
I don't have any issues with feet. I'll show my feet all day long. I like little claws. I don't care. I got sandals. I'll throw them on without socks because that's evil. And yeah.
Thank you. Socks with sandals. Nope.
So I wear socks with sandals.
Oh my god!
We can't be friends anymore, Michael. Sorry.
I don't.
That was the
How
kicker.
the fuck do you boot someone?
Hold on. I haven't wore sandals in like 25 years, so.
Okay.
All right.
So you were a child. You were forgiven.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, they love
Yeah,
you.
yeah. We'll just chalk that up to childhood trauma as well. And yeah.
You never
That's
did
my
flip
dad.
flops, did you?
No, I didn't do flip flops.
All right.
But my dad and Anthony, maybe you can relate to this since you have monkey toes, from what I'm understanding. He would pick us up as children with his feet.
Oh, that is not okay.
That's hilarious. What are you talking about?
That's just fucking weird. Like, here, little Jimmy.
You don't pick things up with your toes?
Like a pencil, yes. A child, no.
Hi, baby.
My dad was like 6 foot tall and 200 pounds, and like, yeah, so it wasn't a risk of him to drop any of us. Like, if it was me, yeah, of course, because I'm like, 5'10" and 145 pounds. So I would probably drop a child if I tried to pick them up.
Your toe strength, man.
Baby's a
You
heavy.
don't have any because you always wear socks and they're not getting stronger. Are we talking about feet?
You brought it up, and you have fetish right on your
Fetish-
computer
fetish
screen.
I was
is
gonna
technically,
say,
yeah.
I think it's applicable to the topic.
Oh yeah.
People love feet. It gets some of
No.
them going.
No. No.
Huh.
What's a wiki feed entry?
A wiki feed entry?
It's a
Oh, God.
For feet.
Okay.
Yes. Let's do it.
Oh God, I'm gonna throw up.
What is it?
You can take pictures
I
of
didn't
my
hear.
feet. You can pimp out my toes.
Oh,
I'll be proud of
pictures?
you.
Okay, yeah, I'll take pictures of it. I'll have them all like spread
If you're
out.
popular,
and-
people will freeze frame your video, and if you have your feet in them, and put them on your wiki page.
Ah.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to sit where my foot is like here. There we go. Okay, I got you guys. Oh, hold on. There we go. Got you.
See, and here's the weird thing with me and
You win. You are far more flexible than me, sir.
so here's the weird thing with me. Like, I absolutely hate feet when they're naked, but like if they're in socks, like I think that is how the human body should have evolved. Like it should just look like it should still have the opposability and all that. It should just, like, all toes should be solid. Like, if we get rid of toes, I'm fine with feet.
It's the toes, huh?
Anyways, I have a definition if you would like one.
Definition time.
That's right. A form of sexual desire in which gratification is linked to an abnormal degree to a particular object, item of clothing, part of body, etc. Victorian men developed fetishes focused on feet, shoes, and boots. Poor things. An inanimate object worshipped for its supposed magical powers or because it is considered to be inhabited by a spirit.
That's a whole new twist on Aladdin.
A whole new world.
Is where we'll be.
I did not know that second one. Just in case.
Line it up over there.
But it looks cool in the video.
Be fearful for me, guys. Please remember me as I was.
It's showing up way better on yours.
So we figured out who's the pyro. I mean, if that does it for you, no judgment.
So is that her fetish? Is that the object that she is? Like,
Ooh,
so actually,
one.
She's loving it right now.
That's an interesting like take on fetishes. So could you have a fire fetish? I mean, would that be what like pyromania is? Is that's like
it might borderline on sadism a little
well,
bit, or borderline.
well, I don't know the research to it. So is there like a sexual component to like pyromania? And are our fetishes like limited to like sexual components, or are they more the unusually strong liking or need for a peculiar object or activity?
I feel.
I think it's to set the mood and to burn the candle wax to pour on your significant other.
So I did just Google it, and there is a fire fetish. It's called pyrophilia. Relatively uncommon. Drives gratification from fire and fire-starting activity.
So then, does that play into pyromania?
Pyrophilia up.
Hold on.
Well, no, I know she called it pyrophilia, but I'm wondering if pyromania is caused by like some sort of, fetish for Pyromania is caused by some fetish for pyrophilia.
Let's find out. Hold on.
Actually, I love how just me playing with my goddamn lighter and candle is like, let's talk about it.
Well, it's a fetish. People like fire.
It can be, according to this Google search. According to publicmed.gov, after a brief review of literature on fire setting and pyromania, 2 cases of arsonists are presented in which fire appears to be a fetish. Both subjects were treated for sexual deviation associated with acts of arson and showed significant changes in their sexual function. So, seems like it could be. And I guess it would make sense. The motives behind setting the fire, the motives behind burning something, could be sexual gratification.
People get off
Instead of
in
destruction
some pretty weird and just whatever works for them. I don't know.
Right? No judgment. Okay.
There shall be no judgment passed here.
You
Unless you wear socks with sandals, then that, yeah, no.
So funny.
I said, if you do, not you used to.
We've already been doing the fetish episode.
But so we got on fire.
So we started on feet. We got everybody's feet on camera, by the way. So
that's hot.
Do with that as you will, HP.
I didn't hear what Anthony said because we were talking at the same time.
Oh, I said, and we got everybody's feet on here. So do with that what you will, HP.
Like half of them had socks.
Oh, yeah. Only one had socks.
Yeah, only you have socks on.
They have different colors.
Oh.
Okay, so this seems a little bit interesting. Sexual fetishism or erotic fetishism is the sexual fixation on a non-living object or non-genital body part. Kind of already touched that. The object of interest is called the fetish. The person has the fetish for the object is a fetishist. A sexual fetish may be regarded as a non-pathological aid for sexual excitement, or, conversely, as a mental disorder if it causes significant psychosocial distress for the person and has detrimental effects on the important areas of their life. Sexual arousal from a particular body part can be further classified as partialism.
So anyways, how about them ball gags?
What's wrong with ball gags?
Nothing.
But is that really a fetish? It could be an oral fixation, but I don't think that's a fetish.
I don't know.
So wait, if the ball gag is what's causing the arousal, then it would be because it's a non-living object or non-genital genital body part.
And people do
Fair.
like having like things restrict, like movement restrict like that too. You put the ball gag in, they can no longer talk, and they can just bite down on it. I don't know, just that kind of like restriction. That's why people like to be tied up and just freaking chained to the bed or something like that. They want that freaking they want to basically not be able to move in order to be more excited.
So when was the first time you had a ball gag?
I've never personally used a ball gag on myself.
Anthony first used a ball gag on November 11th of 2021. I made a quick trip to California. No correlation, of course.
That's why he was gone for 2 days without notice.
I was efficient.
No wonder you
Well,
were
I-
grumpy.
I like to get things done.
So do you guys know the difference between a kink and a fetish? Because I'll be honest, I knew a broad difference between them, but I pulled up like the actual difference. Because sometimes a ball gag can be more of a kink and less of a fetish.
So, from what I understand, and you can correct me, a kink is... So a fetish is what will get you off. You're fixated on it, whereas a kink is just more sort of something that you throw into a sexual experience. Does that
You're
make
pretty
sense?
close. So a fetish is necessary for this person to go all the way. A kink is just like extra flavor.
Okay. So
Yeah,
a
okay.
ball gag would
Okay,
be a kink then. Yeah, you're right.
Well,
But,
a ball
it's
gag
some
could be
cases
both.
For people, that could be a fetish, though.
Oh yeah.
Like it can be both.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. A ball gag could be a fetish, but it could be a kink. So, like,
It's part of the gimp suit.
I think
What did you just say?
I don't know.
a gimp suit,
Said it's
Okay,
part of
I
a
heard
gimp
you
suit.
the black latex mask and full
Yep.
body suit. Okay.
The fact that Anthony keeps going straight to bondage is wonderful.
We know
That's
what
not
he's
even
into.
bondage.
That's his
No, she
fetish.
knows.
That's not even. That's just a freaking. That's just a leather suit, and it's not even bondage.
It's restrictive.
It is a
Because
little
it's latex.
restrictive, and they do have a collar with a leash. I guess you're like attached to them. I guess I don't know.
Okay, so what is the weirdest fetish that you've heard of?
Apparently, I know a lot because it said weirdest fetishes you should know about at like 27, and I knew all of them but like one.
Okay, so
So,
I'm curious if if pornographic material would be considered a fetish. I mean, I realize that all fetishes are kind of pornographic material, but like dragons fucking cars.
And
That was such a good Google search, though.
it was pretty
I
fun.
needed that in my life.
Would that be a fetish? I mean, wouldn't that be? Or is
I
that
mean,
just
if
a
it
kink?
turns you on,
I think it would
Well,
be
does
a
it-
fetish, wouldn't it?
Hold on. Is it necessary for you to orgasm? Because if it is, then it's a fetish. If it doesn't, it's a kink. So I feel like it might be a kink for you. Don't let me assume.
Oh no, it's not my thing. It's just something I know about.
Well, I think it would fall into those categories though. Like if it was necessary, like if you cannot fucking come without looking at a dragon hard rail in a car, that's a fetish.
Okay, so then we would consider furries a fetish.
Depending on, I mean,
Probably
some people-
in
On the
in
individual.
some instances.
I mean, for
Well,
most
it's
furries,
always going to
probably a
depend.
fetish.
It's probably going to depend on the individual in most instances. So we can't just like hard line. This is definitely a fetish, whereas this is only a kink. Because for some
Right.
people, the whole foot thing is just a kink. They don't need to get a foot job to get off. Whereas with others, they may actually need that foot job just to,
Big toe, right?
satisfy that little itch. Did you say hit the red button?
No, she said big toe right up the butt. Which, I mean, could be red button.
I
so-
do have a red.
Well, I
Say
mean,
ass.
that is another thing in itself. So
Oh man, that's something you get into with foot fetishes. Is it the foot job, or do you want the big toe up the butt, or
I think
I
it's the
mean,
sucking on toes, or at least that's what I've heard.
oh,
They're sucking
that
on
is
toes too.
Most people who are
sucking
into
on-
like a foot thing, it is
Can you imagine the
manual
toe jam?
hand. I would hope they wash their
You
feet.
wash
before.
it
What if
first.
they needed that?
well,
What
so
if they
okay,
liked
there.
a stinky foot?
I mean, I can defend that in a way. Like, I am obsessive about cleaning my feet, so I will clean them like 3 or 4 times a day. So I mean, you could suck on someone's foot, but I change my socks twice a day.
But what if the fetish was the stinky foot?
Oh, that's just fucked
Could
up,
be.
yo.
I mean,
That's fucked up.
there are
No.
sensory fetishes and kinks, like certain smells,
I-
sounds.
Yeah, I guess there would be olfactory, like, I mean, because some people, like, I saw this fucking weird TikTok video of this dude, like, begging his girlfriend to fart so that she could fart in his mouth because he just wanted that, as he put it,
What
juicy
kind of
fart.
TikTok are you on?
Wait, I missed it. No.
You're on the wrong side of TikTok, my friend.
I watched TikTok shorts on YouTube, and one of the dudes I follow, what's his name?
What
He
is
was,
it?
Asked his
he
girlfriend to fart in his mouth.
Oh, I've seen that.
he fun. There you go.
You are on the wrong side of
Yeah,
TikTok
you know,
as
real
well.
When I tell you there's not fetishes that I don't know, I'm not kidding. You guys,
No, I do know the gas one. I haven't seen a video, but I do know that like gas and smelling like that, and like the actual fecal matter.
Oh,
It
scat,
does it.
fuck that.
Does it for people?
Human centipede. Enough.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
No.
It's a bad
fuck
deal.
scat fetishes. That shit, scat and fucking
That shit
piss
is
on
shit.
people. Like, it's just fucking. Oh, why?
God, the
I
human
don't know.
centipede.
but
Jesus
then again,
Christ.
it's not our fetish or our kinks.
Honestly, I think there's a valid argument with the grosser fetishes. It's because it's so taboo. Like, it's because it's naughty to think it's hot that people maybe think it's hot. I don't know how else you could be like, shit in my mouth. Like maybe it happened by accident. You're like,
Oh,
Like, I licked the booty. She didn't clean very well.
you'll see that video floating around. What was it? It was about 2 girls and like 1
Two
cup.
girls, 1 cup.
I think even Megan knows that one. Definitely before your time, though.
Oh, dude, I can probably come up with shit before your time, Stevie. Like, there was the Goat SCEX guy, and basically, like, it's what started the whole like 2 girls, 1 cup thing. Like, it was just like to come up with something that was shocking, so you could then share with your friends and be like, "Hey, dude, check out this website." And you'd randomly click on it in MIRC or on whatever web forum you were on. This was all before like fucking technology that we have now. But like, it was a dude that literally had like hooks spreading out his ass cheeks so that his asshole was like yay round.
I remember this.
And then there was Style Project, which was a site that was just totally built on like girls like hammering nails into guys' scrotum sacks, the skin of it, or like stomping on them with like 9-inch heels and shit like that.
unheard of though. That very much falls into BDSM to a degree, and also like
Well-
a degradation kink or something like that too. But the asshole stretching, no.
What can you put up there?
And, there was fucking Tub Girl. It was a girl with. So remember
No,
the other day when I had my.
No. Sorry, not
You don't want me to explain it?
No. You can go ahead. He was trying to eat my money.
Oh. So when I had my legs up over my head the other day, imagine that with a woman in a tub having diarrhea shit. Yeah,
No.
it was a
Please, no.
thing.
There are
Dude,
some
it was-
things that we don't need to imagine.
Thank you.
It was,
Because
it
I
was
would
a
like to
thing
be able
when-
to sleep in the next 20 years.
You know,
It was a-
it's fine.
It was a,
Like
it
20
was a
years.
thing when I was was a thing when I was 15 or 16. Like we'd always throw out these links, just like, "Hey guys, check this out. This is a really cool video." And then you'd check it out, and you'd be like mentally scarred for life, as I am now.
Speaking
Fair.
of which, like that video with the girls in the cup, I've never watched it, but I've always watched the reaction videos when people send it to like their
I love
parents
it.
or their grandma. They'll start out watching it,
That was pretty
be
funny.
curious, and then when it goes down, they'll just be like, "It was the best." And from their reactions alone, I knew that I was never going to watch that because I would not be okay afterwards.
So I got out of, like, I know about a lot of them, but I got out of actually seeing them because, like, I got hit with, like, Tub Girl and the Goat Guy. And, like, after that, I just never trusted anytime my friends were like, "Dude, check this link out. It's fucking amazing." I'm like, no.
No.
Wait.
You remember Rotten.com?
Oh, fuck yes, I remember Rotten.
Wow, some of
like,
the
it's-
shit on there, man.
It spawned after Style Project. I think even some of the guys that were on Style Project, like, left and went and then created Rotten. And, like, oh, fuck.
Jesus, fuck some of the shit you see on there.
And so anytime I saw Rotten.com in the link, at the beginning of the link, I was like, no, I'm not looking at your shit, no.
Nope, I'm good. My innocent little eyes have been scarred too much already. Oh, shit.
But, like, that's how, like, gamer culture grew, and, like, to be, like, the fucking toxic shithole that it kind of is. Like, it's not nearly as bad as what it used to be, but, like, still, if you, like, fall down certain things, like, I mean, fucking Reddit, like, fucking 4chan, fucking 8chan, fucking... Yeah, that's where all that shit came from, was, like, that toxic... like fucking area that was like, it was supposed to be taboo, but in some way, shape, or form, it was kind of entertaining to imbibe. And
It's because you see, like, shit that... I mean, people would see stuff that's not normal and you won't see anywhere else. I mean, it's why people go back there, and then, I don't know, it just eventually evolves into different things. But speaking about links and gaming and stuff like that, you remember stickdeath.com?
oh fuck yeah,
That was the shit. That was
Fuck yeah, it was.
the shit.
He lost as well.
I'm just listening.
Wait,
I'm
Sky,
sorry,
you've
I've been
never
around
done
since the
stickdeath.com?
creation of the internet.
Yeah, true.
Same.
Like, I evolved as the internet evolved, and I'm sure Anthony and probably Stevie, to a slightly lesser extent, but probably still, can say that, like, you know, or they kind of followed the progression of it. And so, like, there's so much shit that, like, was so good, and there was also so much shit that was so fucking bad.
I was more sheltered than Anthony, clearly.
I was sheltered
I-
for a couple years.
I don't know, at least Anthony knows Tub Girl, but I mean, yeah, he might have been a little bit more sheltered because, like, during the advent of some of these things, like, you know, apparently he did not have a computer, and I'm sorry. If it makes you feel any better, I had to go through cancer, alright?
Where did I use the computers at back in
You
the
just
day?
threw out the cancer card for that. You're like, I'm sorry, you didn't have a computer. I almost died. Like,
That's how I got a
same
computer!
thing, bro.
That's how he
Oh, that's how you got the computer.
So that was a pro tip. You're like, nearly die, you'll get a computer every time.
Yeah, just get a super rare cancer and you'll be fine as a child. Or, no, you'll be traumatized as a child. Fuck. I don't
If
know.
you make it.
Yeah, well,
You'll
I
get
had
a
a PlayStation 2, the original one.
Oh, I had that too, but the state didn't pay for that.
Hmm.
That would be really cool to talk about is Kohlberg's theory of morality. I think we get some interesting answers.
Would you like to put it on the list?
That sounds like a good subject.
I don't know where my pin is.
It's basically it's an argument, it's a situational proposition, and Kohlberg's theory is where there are 3 levels of morality, and he argues that most children are stuck in stage 1, and then almost all adults get to stage 2, and very rarely do people get into stage 3. And based off your answers and your rationing to it, you can typically determine where someone is on the scale, and the answers behind it are really interesting. I'm trying not to spoil it, so I won't say.
Sounds pretty cool.
Does this deal somewhat with like the area of the trolley dilemma or the trolley problem?
Similarly, but this was before that. So Kohlberg was one of the very first people to theorize it. He was built off of Piaget's theories about kind of cognitive development in infants, so on and so forth. And Kohlberg, learning from Piaget, adapted his theories to it.
I'll remind you later. I don't have a pen.
That's fine.
Also, I kind of wondering if we want to do a personality test for the next one.
A what?
That would be super fun.
Personality test. I was thinking we would take them separately and then we would do them as a group to just see how we would argue our point to figure out the answer for each question.
So what do you?
I'm kind of afraid.
What do you mean, like a personality test?
There's
like
several of them.
the ones that like make you an empath or whatever shit like that.
You're talking about Myers-Briggs.
Yeah.
Is that the most famous one?
That's the one where you have the 4
letters.
Yeah.
IJ, F.
Yeah. It's like E, F, J, T, and fucking I,
it's either introverted or extroverted, feeling or judgmental.
Yeah, I think it'd be really interesting. Like we would take them separately, and then we would take them as a group on the podcast. I
don't think
with the Myers-Briggs though, that's not very objective.
Exactly.
It's personality, so I don't get how talking about it in a group setting would be with that one in particular.
Well, and I don't
as a group, what are we?
I don't think those are very accurate unless they're actually being assessed by
it was just a
psychiatric professional.
Potentially, I think. Well, so many tests have bias built into them. And they have, there's no way they're ever going to be perfect. There's no way they're ever going to be accurate because if it's self-administered, it's only the level of honesty you have with yourself. So I can agree with you on that, but I think every single test in the history of any sort of examination is flawed. And
well, I think psychiatry is like somewhat of a very difficult field because you do have to have a lot of it's going to be subjective. But you also have to have someone administering whatever those tests are in such a way that they're not alluding to the answers that you yourself want. I mean, that's why I think personality tests are kind of harmful, is because you're looking at it going, what is the answer that I want? You're not looking at it going, I just want an answer.
Exactly. That's where I was going with the honesty with yourself.
Okay. Yeah.
If you try to manipulate it, if you try to malinger in the test, you're fucked.
Yeah. Then I agree. I agree with what you're stating. I mean, it's like when people take the dark triad test. They're fun, but like it has to be administered by someone, and it has to be done in such a way where.
But why can't we just do it for fun? I think that's kind of what.
Well, I mean, we can't. I'm not arguing with that.
It is not gonna be.
Yeah, we can totally do it for fun, I suppose. I mean, I hate those political alignment tests because I know where I can
doing
the
that.
line.
We should totally do that.
Okay, we could do that.
That would be fun. If you want, take a personality one and then take a political one, that would make hella arguments.
That might be a fun one in one episode.
Yeah, why not the political episode?
Or maybe a 2-part episode. Well, because in the political episode, I actually want to get into politics because I know that I think I'm the only socialist here, so
I don't identify as anything at the moment. Still learning.
Oh, and Megan's been really quiet. She's like, I think
politics are a joke, personally.
Huh?
I think politics are a joke. I think they're a topic, idea, however you want to categorize it, that's built upon the diversion of people. You pit one against the other in order to control. So I think politics are bullshit. So I don't aspire to.
So you mean the division, not the diversion?
I think both. I think it's used for both.
Okay.
Yeah, so just quick question. How many of y'all think your vote actually matters when you're voting for a president?
Nope. It's a wonderful fallacy.
No matter at all. I was just curious.
I'll disagree. I think your vote matters. I just don't think it matters in necessarily the way that people think it matters.
I think in premise, the idea of it works great, but the electoral system that we have in this nation makes it very hard for every individual to matter. Like if you look at the electoral college in general, right? We know that the majority of the state, if it leans left, the left gets the whole state, right? So whoever voted right in that state is disenfranchised. Their vote did not actually matter through the electoral college. Pros and cons to both sides in terms of having an electoral college, but I think that is a main argument as to what someone could use to say that each vote doesn't matter.
Oh yeah.
And likewise, if you look at like voter ID suppression, for example, people on reservations who have non-traditional addresses, like 4.5 miles past the pine tree on the right, next to mailbox, the green one, right? Like those are actual IDs in reservations or in more remote locations. But if you don't have a standard address, you can't vote. Remember that used to be a big thing, and it still is. I mean, it happens every single time. So I think there's equal arguments for both. That in premise, showing up and doing your civic duty in terms of caring enough to be educated on the issues and vote versus everything that goes against it. They kind of null and void each other.
Okay, so I forget whether it was Plato or Aristotle, and this is one of my problems with voting, is that I think the electorate is incredibly ignorant. And I forget which one argued for that, like, only the educated should be able to vote. And I think you could get me there where I kind of agree with that. That part of the problem with voting is people are either one issue voters or they're just dipshits in general.
See, there's counter arguments to all of that, though, because if you think about systemically as a nation, the media, they're almost always a bias to every media source. You're never, and to be honest, I'm going to go blunt and say there's never an absolute truth. You're only hearing someone's perspective or someone's understanding, what they want to get across, how they want to articulate it. So the idea of everyone being educated can honestly kind of be debunked because it depends on the propaganda you're fed. Or there's a thing called confirmation bias where psychologically speaking, most of the time,
you search out what agrees with you.
That confirms your bias. Exactly.
Yeah.
So the argument that only, intellectual people, only non-ignorant, it depends on who defines that. So it could be more of a restrictive measure to prevent everyone from voting. And that goes into the unfair approaches that voting has taken historically in the United States. You can go back to the Three-Fifths Compromise. You could go back to, you name it.
But that is sort of my thing, though. I do agree that potentially there should be some restriction to voting instead of everyone being able to vote. That said, I think, and I mean that's where I say that you could kind of get me to agree that maybe we don't need what is our adult population, something like around 200 million people. Like I don't necessarily know that we need those 200 million people to vote. I think that maybe we'd be better off without some of them. And it's not just those that disagree with me. It's just those that look at things and they're all like, fucking people that come up with takes well, she's a Muslim, so she shouldn't be a part of our political establishment. I think if someone makes a comment like that, it's like, okay, I think you're so low information that potentially, like, we could exclude you from voting. Now, likewise, I do think that everyone should be able to vote, even if they are just a total dipshit. So
The only thing it kind of popped into my mind is it's a really interesting thought process for someone who just labeled himself as a socialist. That to argue for voter suppression and seclusion seems like it would be in polar opposite to my understanding of the core principles of socialism. So it's really interesting to hear you talk about that.
just because I said I was a socialist doesn't mean that I want socialism in this country right now. I don't think that we're responsible enough. I'm also an anarchist, but I don't think we're responsible enough to practice anarchy. I don't think we're responsible enough to practice either. I don't think we have either system fleshed out enough. I think right now, where we're at is not the best we can do right now, but it is probably better than if we tried to implement either system, either an anarchistic or socialist system. So, like, utopian. If I could get to my utopian future, we would be like this sort of hybrid mixture of anarchism and socialism, and I don't even think that's really a hybrid mixture. I think they both play off of each other, but right now I think that we need capitalism, and I think that we need some sort of representative democracy. And what I would like to see is more like a sock dim approach.
How do you mean?
I'm sorry, you broke up.
How do you mean? That's a really broad term. How would it be applied? What would it change? What do you mean?
I think that we need to broaden certain social safety nets so that people do not fail under no circumstance of their own.
Okay. So I have an interesting thought experiment. I realize this has nothing to do with fetishism or
It's fine.
Sorry.
Hey, this is my fetish, all right? I am rock hard right now.
Definitely king for Michael. You have no idea.
So I'm going to say that Michael and I have to be silent. Anthony and Stevie have to answer this first. Are you in favor of limitations to free speech to protect against hate speech? What are your thoughts? What are your concerns? Because I think it's a valid line of argument building off Michael's. Let's hear what you two have to say before the two loudmouths take over.
Too late.
And obviously there's no right answers, period, because we all don't know what we're talking about. So
Oh yeah. No, that'll be interesting though. I mean, there shouldn't be any hate speech at all. And then basically, I mean, I think you should have a right. You have the freedom of speech. You can talk about whatever you want, but I do think that the hate speech should be reduced, or it just shouldn't even be there.
We wouldn't have so much hate speech.
There's a lot of hate out in the world right now. So there's a lot of hate speech. There's a lot. I mean, if we could like censor that, then I mean, I wouldn't necessarily see anything wrong with that, but I don't know. That's a tough conversation right there, actually.
No.
You want to play?
Fine. I don't think anyone should be censored.
Okay.
I think people should censor themselves if they think about what they say before they say it and how it impacts others. Otherwise, just say whatever the fuck you want and deal with the consequences.
Oh, definitely. See, they should censor themselves, but they're never going to.
Exactly.
That's a fact that we
deal with the
we live in.
consequences.
But then what would the consequences be?
Other people are your consequences. How you're treated are your consequences.
Oh,
How do you mean by that? Like other people, do you mean like people should be able to openly say slanderous shit about you if you say it about someone else? They should be able to...
I mean, how people react are your consequences. Like if you're saying something and then you get canceled, not that I like cancel culture.
Yeah, that's right.
It's your fault. You set yourself up to be canceled because you didn't think about your actions.
I forgot there's a whole cancellation group
Cancel
going on.
culture is stupid, but you should be held accountable for what you say. But you should still have the right to say your dumbass shit.
So basically the question is, should we limit free speech to eliminate hate speech?
Or should there be any limitations? Let's not go elimination. Let's just go any limitations.
I think that really depends on who's limiting what. If it's just face-to-face interactions where we're talking, then I agree with Stevie. You have the right to say what you want to say, but you're not free from the consequence of saying it. If it's the government saying that you can't say a certain thing, I draw some issue. I don't think the government has the right to say that you can't run around saying inward, 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 inward. I don't think you should say it, but if the government's going to step in and say that you can't say it whenever you're just like, say, reciting a Chappelle joke or a Chris Rock joke or even like a George Carlin joke, yeah, no, I don't think the government should do that. Now, if you're trying to incite violence with your speech, then I think absolutely the government should be able to stop you from saying that.
I'm pretty
At
sure.
the same time,
Finish your thought.
at the same time, if, like, say, a platform like Twitter, Facebook, Discord, whatever, wants to say, you can't say this thing, well, that's their platform. They have the right to tell you you can't say it. If you violate it, once again, it goes back to Stevie's argument. Your words have consequences.
Can't you get arrested for hate speech? I'm pretty sure that's
Just-
already a law.
It's gotta be. So I actually think that you can be arrested for hate speech, but it has to incite violence or some form of, crime. You can't just, like, literally, I can walk out there and be like, oh my god, all these damn N-words, and...
I can answer this for you. There are two congressional court cases. So the standard belief that you have complete freedom of speech is bullshit. You're not allowed to do two things. Call to action, which is what Michael is referencing, where you directly call for someone or some sort of act of harm. So if it would be something along those lines of, like, kill all the, insert.
Wait, hold on, Megan. I actually have a good example of this. Marilyn Manson has been known for doing this, where instead of saying, hey, go out there and beat this person's ass, he'll be like, it's a shame if your ass got beat. And that's how he gets around the law, is because he's not even suggesting that someone act. What he's doing is, making it known that, like, yeah, he probably would like it to happen, wouldn't be upset about it, but he's not telling anyone to go do something. But if you actually go out there and you're all like, that motherfucker there, center row, C11, fucking beat his ass down because I want his ass beat down, like, that's going to get you in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. And then, like, the most notable one is screaming fire in a theater, right?
That's not true.
What's not true?
That, from what I understand, screaming fire in a theater probably will not get you in trouble.
Why do you say that? Because almost every single theater I've ever heard of someone doing that, they get in trouble. Because after they have the emergency response, so on and so forth, they literally incited fear and emotional harm, sometimes physical harm, because people freak out so badly. And there's historical cases where someone did, in fact, yell fire in a theater, and it made it all the way up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ruled that call to actions, and I don't remember the terms they used for the theater and threat type, are not allowed.
Okay, so it was
constitutionally prosecutable.
So it was an analogy that was used by Justice Orville Wendell Holmes Jr. in an opinion of the United States Supreme Court in the case of Sneck versus the United States in 1919, which held that the defender's speech in opposition to the draft during World War I was not protected free speech under the First Amendment of the Constitution. But the case was later partially overturned by Bradenburg v. Ohio in 1969, which limited the scope of the banned speech to that which would be directed to or likely to incite imminent lawless action. So there's ambiguity in the language after the Supreme Court had their second case. So if you're not,
Maybe that was an outdated reference.
Okay.
well, it's so like even the reference itself of screaming fire in a theater was only an analogy in which was used. It wasn't actually like this thing would get you in trouble. But it was basically him making an analogy to the and I'd have to look into the
For
case
imminent
again.
harm due to words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So screaming fire in a theater just gets everyone to orderly like walk out of the theater and no lawless action takes place, then it's arguably not illegal at all. Even though there was no fire. And I think one of the reasons this was done, and I'd have to read up on it again because it has been years, was that sometimes you can make an honest mistake and, you know, cause some sort of panic or at least crisis event like that, and you don't need to necessarily be held responsible for that. Unless, of course, you know, you're doing it with malice intent.
Yeah, it goes into the definition of a crime. You have to have mens rea. You have to have the ability to have done the crime yourself and the mindset behind it. You had to intentionally do it. Most of the time, most statutes define knowingly, basically meaning that there's a reasonable likelihood that you should be certain that your intention or your action would lead to that consequential action. So
Can we get on the...
And this goes back to Anthony with the intention behind the hate speech or whatever that is.
Can we get on the same page for a second? Do you
Never.
take law?
Me?
Or, yeah.
So I have a BA in criminology, a minor in pre-law, and a BA in psychology. So I studied criminology, the study of crime.
Yeah, but that's a little bit different than actually studying law. So I only have classes in tort law. I didn't really take criminal law. I just decided to study some criminal law because I find law fascinating. And that's the only reason I wanted to ask it about, you know, getting on the same page, is because I wanted to kind of like have a better understanding of how much you understand and where I should maybe shut up or at least, like, you know, look up a few more things before fucking opening my mouth.
Stop, no need. We're all friends here.
Say something stupid every once in a while. Jeez.
Yeah, God knows I do.
I like ponies.
See? Don't you feel better?
So, okay, yeah, so I'm pretty much agreeing with how... I pretty much agree with you. I think maybe, like, there's a little bit more that could be unpacked there. But, yeah, okay. Sorry. Go on.
No.
Serious.
Sirius farted.
Oh, Jesus. Sorry.
Dude, it's bad.
No, it was serious, not Jesus.
Oh, serious.
Jesus is dead, man. He's long past stinking.
But I work with Jesus. I work with like 7 of them.
Kind of stinking too.
No, that's Jesus.
Oh, okay. Jesus. That's what it is.
That's probably why they never talk to you. It's usually like, hey, Jesus!
Yep.
Oh, man.
Yep, that's right. I'll call him Jesus. And then Jose, we call him Jose. Or Josie.
His name is Bacon.
Oh, buddy, cute.
I'm not hating on Mexicans. I myself am a Mexican, alright? Just putting it out there.
I feel like that's the argument of like I'm not racist, I have a black friend. Or like, I'm not racist, I know one Pakistani person. Like,
I don't know how to I don't know how to work that joke in.
do it. Come on, do it.
Say it. Say it.
I really fucking hate white people.
That's a joke? I thought that was kind of like a position.
I've only been white for 100 years.
How old are you?
I'm 38. But I'm sorry, my people have only been white for 100 years. I'm fucking Irish, all right? We weren't considered white until the white people were all like, "Oh shit, other races are coming over here. We probably need to scoop these guys up and add them to the team." I did not want to be added to this team, all right? You know what fucking the English did to like fucking 75% of the world? Yeah, 75% of the world. They used the Irish and the Scottish as test subjects, and they were like, "Oh yeah, this works out. We can fucking do this. All right, let's go." So fuck it, I am not white. That's the joke.
Well, you know today's world. You can self-claim to be whatever you want to be. Identify.
Ooh, are we gonna go there?
Perhaps not in this episode.
I mean,
This episode was supposed to be about fetishes.
True. Derail.
Dude and I've been rock hard the entire time, once again, so.
Once again, it's HB's fetish.
Definitely HP.
Intellectual conversation is my fetish.
His name is Pumpkin.
And then my second fetish is, talking to dipshits on Facebook.
I thought I was taking it up the ass by a girl.
I mean, that's like, top 5.
That's not a fetish, though. You don't have to have that to finish, do you? It's a kink.
So
Oh,
I
no,
can see HB now just like getting it on and just like right when he's getting close, he's all right, we need to start arguing about politics right now.
What makes you think?
Tell me socialism's a joke. Come on. Talk Marx, come on.
So who did you vote for last presidency?
Right. Tell me you voted for Trump. Go, go, go.
Dude, I was gonna make that joke. I was like, I hate fuck all the time. I'm just all like, fucking tell me how you like Daddy Trump. Tell me. Oh yeah. And then I'm so disgusted with myself afterwards that, like, I'm just all like, I leave my own house while they're in my bed.
I can see it now. This is a role play for Michael, right? Pretend I'm on The Apprentice. Judge me hardly, Daddy.
You're fired.
Oh shit.
No, but seriously, fuck Trump.
If that does it for you, man, I would avoid that guy like 500 feet.
No, that wouldn't do it for me. Okay.
You come out of there looking like Cheeto dust.
Dude, wouldn't that be the weirdest STD?
Anthony, are you gonna pay for my therapy? I need some now, because all I thought was like, imagine the smell. Like you've got the dust, like you just open a bag of Cheetos. Stop it! I wonder if he
Do not try to ruin Cheetos. I swear to God.
Dude, I wonder if that is like a specific STI. Like, you just pull out and suddenly it's all orange and you can't wash it off. You're like, I'm sorry, sir, your penis is permanently Oompa Loompa.
There's Cheeto dust everywhere.
Wow, that's a flaming hot Cheeto you've got there, sir.
It really does burn. Oh, you might have syphilis as well. Or is that gonorrhea?
Instead of the crunchy. I haven't seen that one before.
I'm gonna go back to looking at cute things.
Alright, I'm getting off here. I'm going away.
All right.
I love you guys. Behave. Be safe.
Bye.
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 Don't shit on each other with Cheetos.
In a bathtub.